My name is Jessica Laurier, and I am the co-VP of East Brunswick TNR and Rescue. And this is Lindsay Margosian, and she is the executive director. During the COVID period, Lindsay was getting a lot of people contacting her and reaching out. A lot of people were home, so naturally you're going to see more kittens and cats around. Everyone's just looking for things to do in their backyard. And she's been an amazing resource. For me personally, I reached out to her around that time, and that's how we hooked up. I had found some kittens in my backyard, and I had also found a colony, which I've been taking care of now for the past 2 years. And Lindsay and I talked at great length over message, and she advised me as far as how I can handle my colony, setting me up with different resources, and she's been great. And through her, I've become very passionate about this cause, and she had asked me if I wanted to become a part of something larger, and she really set everything up. She's the guru. Lindsay, do you want to say more about how you started? So the benefits to the community as far as TNR goes, you don't have to be a cat lover or even an animal lover. Really what you want is to not listen to cats fighting outside at night, especially in mating season. They can become crazy, they can be yowling all night, fighting, spraying, outside of your home. Problem behaviors like digging through your garbage and, maybe even fighting with your outside animals, your cats, through the windows even. It becomes very upsetting to indoor cats if there are strays outside. Sometimes it actually can lead to your own perfectly behaved indoor cats spraying inside of your home, which if you've ever smelled cat urine, you will never forget the smell. It's very distinct. It's a big problem. So what TNR does is cut back on those problem behaviors outside. It will also help to control the population. So you're not going to walk outside and go in your backyard looking for firewood in that pile and see unexpected, very cute but unwelcome visitors, these little kittens outside. So we're trying to control that. We also want to prevent any kind of suffering outside. There's only a limited amount of resources for these cats that live out there. It's a tough life. This is, it gets cold in the winter, it gets very hot in the summer. It's hard for them to survive. And we want to manage the cats that are here, keep them healthy and safe and fed. But we don't want to have a never-ending cycle of kittens because they can reproduce. 2 unfixed cats can reproduce at a very alarming rate. Even if you don't see it, there is a problem with thousands of stray and feral cats outside in this town. And I can tell you, we only service East Brunswick. The amount of requests we get, it's crazy. And we're a new group, so people are just seeking us out and finding us. The shelters are full. The rescue groups are not taking kittens. Right now, we are able to get assistance through animal control for any sick or injured animals. But when it comes to just stray cats that people find outside, there really are no resources. That's where our group comes in. And we're happy to fill that void and be a part of the community and really partner with the town. And I can speak more about actually the process of when we have a requester kind of the steps that we go through, we will have somebody reach out to us through the East Brunswick website, and there's a whole questionnaire listed as far as how many cats and kittens do you see? Are you feeding them? Are any sick or injured animals? And once they complete the questionnaire, it would be sent to myself or another trapper, and we'll make the initial contact. We'll go and do a site visit to see what they have going on there. And then we'll make a plan to trap. And what that means is they have to get these cats on a regular feeding schedule. So the way that we're able to trap is we withhold food at least 24 hours before we go and trap. So that ensures that they are hungry enough to actually go into the trap for the food. And once that happens, I will text Lindsay with the good news or the bad news saying, oh, we struck out today, we didn't get the cat. Or great news, we got the cat. And I will load this baby up into my trunk in the trap and drive it over to someone else's house to hold it overnight. And then we have some wonderful people involved with our group who will actually make that trip from East Brunswick to People for Animals in Robbinsville very early in the morning. And they will sometimes hold overnight if it's a walk-in. Otherwise, someone has to go back that same day and pick up the cat. And the important part for TNR, which stands for Trap, Neuter, Return, the big importance is that the R stands for return. So we are going to bring those cats back to where they came from. Sometimes people are asking, can you please drop this cat off somewhere else? I don't want it here. We cannot do that. It's a last resort to relocate these cats because we found that their natural instinct is to go back to where they were from. And sometimes they can be killed or hit by a car on their way back to try to find that area. There are a lot of people contacting us constantly for assistance with strays, ferals, injured cats and kittens. In East Brunswick, we've estimated that there are anywhere between 4,000 and 5,000 stray and feral cats in our community. Sometimes you won't notice unless you're looking, although I will say that we see quite a few. If you go on the East Brunswick Helping Each Other site on Facebook, I see so often people are posting, is this your cat? Is your cat missing? And I can zoom in the picture and I will notice 9 times out of 10 that there's an ear clip. Now, if you get TNR'd as a stray or feral cat, they will clip the tip of your left ear. And that signifies that this cat has already been cared for. This cat's already been TNR'd, they've gotten their vaccinations. So if you see that, you don't need to worry about trying to trap this cat. He's already been taken care of, and he's probably not someone's pet. This is a gravity trap. What I like about this kind of trap is that it's very quiet. So when the cat enters, we put the food all the way at the back. This is going to entice them to go all the way in enough so they will trigger the door to close. The beauty of a gravity trap is it's very quiet, so it's not going to freak everyone out. Often we're trapping, in a colony and there's multiple cats there. We don't want them to be terrified. Once that door closes, the cats do tend to thrash around quite a bit. They do not want to be confined. So we go over and throw a sheet or a blanket over the trap and it magically calms them right down. And then we take them with the cover on. That stays on the whole time that they are in that trap. It's very important to keep them calm. They prefer like a dark, quiet area. There are 2 different types of cats that we encounter in our work outside. There are feral cats, which have never had exposure to people. They do not ever want to be touched by people. They are very fearful and they can be aggressive with people. Those are feral cats that cannot be adopted. There are also stray cats that are just like the cats we have in our home, but maybe they've had some exposure to people in the past. They might have been a pet previously and perhaps they got out and they were lost. Or even more sad, they might have been dumped. If somebody moved, they might have chosen to just release the cat. Unfortunately, that happens. So in every colony, you'll kind of see, to the most feral down to a cat that's a friendly. A friendly cat is, can have that temperament where eventually they can really warm up to you. I can say that in my colony, I've been feeding for about 2 years. I can now touch every single one of those cats, apart from Bandit, who just joined the group, but I'm gonna work on him. He's gonna become my friend. It's wonderful as someone who works with these animals to see the trust they will really gain. Obviously, if you're feeding them, taking care of them, they really do appreciate it. One of the signs when you approach, they will roll over onto their back and show their belly, which means I trust you. It's really nice to see that. But yeah, you can form a real relationship with these cats. And some of the real friendly cats, we noticed that and we marked them for adoption. So you can't just take a cat from outside and trap it and think that it's going to be a pet. There's a lot of things you have to do, a lot of steps you'd have to take. There is a new cat that's recently showed up in my colony, and his name is Bandit. He's a tuxedo cat. My daughter named him because it kind of looks like he's like an old Wild West villain. Like it looks like he has a little chin strap here. So he's new, so he has not yet been TNR'd. So the plan for Bandit is we will use our funds from our group. I will personally trap him. So I will bring a trap to my colony. I have to be sure to not feed any of my guys the day before, and hopefully I can get him to go in the trap. Once I trap him and lure him in there with food, I will bring him back to my house overnight. He will hang out in my garage for the night, and I will get up early in the morning and drive him to the clinic. And we partner with People for Animals in Robbinsville. And I will go and pick up Bandit that evening. He will hang out in my house or my garage overnight to recover from his surgery. And then the next day, he's free to go back home to be with his other buddies. The reason why we do TNR, this will prevent him from roaming. He's not going to be out there looking to mate. He has shown some aggression towards the other cats there, and that's because he's, still loaded up with his testosterone, and he needs to relax. It's better for him long term, prevents cancer and other behaviors. The other thing is when we take the cats to be fixed, they're also going to get vaccinations, and I'm going to microchip him. And that's important too. People will ask, why would you put a microchip in, a stray or feral cat? And the answer there is because if he's ever picked up by, an animal organization or, ends up in a shelter, they have to legally scan for a chip. Otherwise, he could be euthanized. He could be kept there, for a long time. This way, if he's microchipped with my name and the address of my colony, he's going to come back home. So it's very important. That's part of, we always will microchip our TNRs with our group. People for Animals is a low-cost clinic. So currently, it's $90 for each cat. Sometimes when we have requesters and we're going to trap for a cat on their property, they'll be so kind as to donate back to our group. But we always cover the cost of the spay and neuter initially, and we're happy to do that. And just want to get the word out there as far as how important this is. A lot of people don't know about this cause and don't understand why it's important, but it's very near and dear, especially to Lindsay here. She's very dedicated to our mission. One of the most rewarding parts of TNR is at the very end, the last stage of the process is when we do what we call the freedom run. And this is when we bring the cat back to its home, its outdoor colony, and we have the cover over it, and we sometimes film it where we'll release the cat. Sometimes they will zoom as fast as they can away from us. Sometimes they just kind of hang out in shock, like, where am I? What's gonna happen? Do I even get out of here? It's beautiful. We have like a whole montage of freedom runs from various traps that we've done, but that's the best part. It's the most rewarding. The cat's been cared for. It cannot reproduce anymore. It's been vaccinated. We know it's gonna be safe and healthy and hopefully live a great life outside with its caregiver. Right now, we're looking to expand more so to be able to care for kittens, but right now we have to rely on other groups to partner with us who are really set up for fostering. We do some fostering, and we have placed some cats and some friendly cats from colonies in some homes, which has been great. But I think a longer term goal would be to have more access to fostering and a more direct route to adoptions. That's something we'd love to do because we do encounter some friendlies all the time. Right in April of 2020, when the whole world shut down, my husband came inside and he's like, "There's something outside. It's crying. I don't know what it is." He's like, "I think it might be a cat." And he brought this tiny little ball of fur inside and it was crying. The eyes were still closed. And I could tell you, I was always a dog person. I never liked cats. I was a little unsure of them. I always had a little tiny dog. But when we brought this tiny little ball of fur into the home, I'm like, okay, this is my mission now. I have no job at the moment. Like everyone's home during COVID. So I fell in love with this cat. His name is Charlie. And this was almost 4 years ago now. I bottle fed this guy. He was my baby. He was my new pet project. And that's how my love of cats started. We are happy to go to the requester's home and their location to help trap the cat. But what we really like to do is kind of teach people how to solve this problem for themselves. So in the cases where someone's willing to learn how to trap, we will lend you a trap. We will lend you the dividers, which is very important if you're holding the cat in the trap the night before. Kind of like when humans have surgery, you need to cut off food and water at a certain point in the evening. A divider will go through the trap so you can actually safely open up the door and remove the food without getting scratched, keep the cat safe, keep yourself safe. We'll teach you all step by step what you need to do, provide you with the check-in information when you take the cat to the clinic yourselves. Our long-term goal would be to provide a service where we're really educating people and empowering them to be able to trap, teach other people how to trap. So this is becoming, more something that people don't feel so intimidated by. At first, it can be a little bit tricky, but it's so second nature at this point. If you have lost a cat in town, we're a resource. We have quite a bit of following online and we're able to post pictures, and Lindsay has some great suggestions as far as how to get the cats back, whether that be putting a litter box outside. If you can't get them in the natural way, you might have to use a trap, and that's where we come in. Sometimes it does, even if it's your own cat that escaped from outside or from your home, sometimes they're not going to come in on their own, and you might need to use a trap just to get your own cat inside. So feel free to reach out to us if you'd like to borrow a trap at any time. We're happy to work with anybody in East Brunswick and to provide that service. East Brunswick TNR and Rescue, we are an official 501c3. So we're a great and small organization that's growing quickly, and we would love to expand our team. If there's anyone out there that's interested in getting involved in fundraising, we would love to have some great ideas for different events we can become a part of. We're always looking for new ideas. We run totally on donations and the kindness of people giving of their time and donations to help us do the work that we do. We were fortunate enough, one of the big projects we just finished, we had a woman, we did 28 surgeries for her. We did TNR 28 times and she funded every single one. That was a beautiful thing, but that is very rare. More often than not, it's on us to fund the project, and we're happy to do it. We only want to help.